Good evening, YouTubers. It's me again, Nice Kid Gamer Music Lover, and I'm back for more What's on the GED test. And we're on the 4th episode, and it's language arts, reading / writing. And wow, holy smokes, we're on the 4th episode already. Like, dang, and it's about to be the end of the month. Like, are you serious? Like, dang, I just started before the 4th of July. Before the 4th of July. Like, dang. And we're on episode 4 already. Dang, getting close to the end of the month. Like I said, that I'm going to do all the episodes of the GED test for the whole this month. Like, yeah, like, dang. And now we're getting close to the end of the month. Like, dang. It's now the 25th of July. Like, dang. Time flies. Like, wow. Are you serious? Dang. But anyway, I'll start out with grammar, because grammar is really easy. Start with grammar is really easy, but it's on part 3 of the test. Like, part 3. Like, yeah. But yeah. And I look at like my notes and all. Actually, my notes and all. Or actually, no. For the grammar, I'll get back to the notes in a bit. But yeah, for the grammar, remember your nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Nouns is a person, place, or thing. Verbs is what you did, action. An adjective is information about you. So yeah, and I learned that from Jumpstart, 2nd grade, one of my favorite educational games from back in the day when I was a kid. So yeah, I love that game. So nostalgic, bring back memories. So yeah, it gave me a song. It did a song back in the day I like. Nouns, verbs, and adjectives. All those 3 songs were good. I like that. I really like those. I really like those 3 songs from Jumpstart 2nd grade. So yeah. So anyway, back what I'm saying, and remember pronouns. He, she, they, him, her, them, his, her, their, or theirs. So yeah, you, your, yours, mine, my, mine's, and so yeah, us, ours, our, himself, herself, myself, yourself, themselves, themself. So yeah, those are pronouns. Yeah, pronouns and all. So yeah. Oh, and yeah, pronouns. So yeah, and also got my notes right here. For singular nouns, the verbs have to have an S at the end for singular nouns. Singular is just one thing or person, one thing of an object. So yeah. Well, plural nouns doesn't have to have an S, which plural means more than one person or an object, and also yeah. And for the subject, if it talks about the subject, usually the verb it does not end with an S, but the verb does. So yeah, for the subject, usually does not end with an S, but the verb does. So yeah. So yeah. So, and also for well-being means belongs to all. Well-being, remember that, belongs to all. So yeah, belongs to all. Well-being, easy to remember. So yeah. And also facts and opinions. That's there. Remember the facts, which that's true, and opinions is people's own thoughts. So yeah, facts is everybody agree on, and opinions is people's own thoughts. So yeah. And also misreading hypoponus. Oh, how you pronounce that? Sorry, hold on. Sorry. Hypothesis. Sorry, hypothesis. If for misreading words, be careful with. Now onto the reading section. So now onto the reading section. Hypothesis, that's misreading words, which is basically be careful with more, less, only, always, never, and none. But those things are not really important. If those three questions use those three words, each of those three questions use one of those three words out of four. Don't mark those out because those three are not important. And also, yeah, more, less, only, always, never, none. Those are not important. Those are not really important. So yeah. So eliminate those 6 words. If you see those questions, if you see those as an answer, eliminate those 6 words. So yeah. And for the difference and contrast, you look for the words but, however, and yet. For difference and contrast. So yeah. And also exaggeration. Look for the words emphasize, intensifies, underscores, and overstates. Exaggeration. So yeah. And also there's going to be definitions too as well. Going to be some definitions. For the words, look carefully at the definitions for the words and all. So yeah, the definitions too. So look carefully for the words and what's it mean. So yeah. What's it mean? So yeah. And what else? Sorry. Sorry. Sorry, guys. The screen was a little acting up, so my bad, so yeah. But anyway, and also this tone equals attitude and all that, so yeah. And there's theme, the whole story, the theme, whole story, and all. Theme, the whole story, and central theme, the main takeaway, first and last paragraphs. First and last paragraphs, so yeah. And conclusions, two. Talk about the last paragraph or two, sometimes two. If the final paragraph is short, just go to the second last of the paragraphs. Second last of the paragraph. If the last paragraph is short, go to the second last. Second to the last paragraph. If the last paragraph is short, so yeah. And similar, and now there's also, let's see, figurative language, that's there too. Figurative language, that's there. So yeah, figurative language, that's there. And simile, there you go. Simile compares two things like or as. Comparing two things like or as. Like for example, in a sentence, for example, the sentence, I saw a boy playing in the mud. He looks like a pig. That's like, if as, you are cute as an angel. That's how like and as work. That's how like and as goes. And simile is, using the simile. And metaphor, comparing two things that doesn't use like or as, comparing two things that doesn't use like or as. Like for writing a sentence, like for example, let's see. Like example. Let's see. Like example. Let's see. What could be a good word for metaphor? Compare. Like Shrek is an ogre. There you go. Shrek is an ogre. That's a metaphor. You're comparing the person's name, the character's name, and the creature. Basically, that's how a metaphor is. Shrek is an ogre, or the creature he is. Yeah, that's what a metaphor is. You're comparing the person, like Shrek is a character, and ogre is the creature he is. That's metaphor, comparing two things. So yeah, that's how metaphor is. So yeah, and for like and as, like as like I'm saying, saw this kid playing in the mud. He looks like a pig. Comparing kid and pig. And you are cute as a name, Joe. And comparing you and Angel. Comparing you and Angel, so yeah. For example, like, or Wally is an angel. Wally is cute as an angel. Comparing Wally to Angel. Wally to Angel, so yeah. So that's metaphor. And there's also hyperbole is exaggeration. Hyperbole is exaggeration. Like, I've seen this movie a million times already. I've seen this movie a million times. That's easy to remember. That's easy. That's the most easy. That's the most easiest. That's the most easiest example ever. I've seen this movie a million times. A good way for use hyperbole, right? Not you cannot make it to a million times watching this movie. You cannot make it to a million times watching this movie. It's just exaggeration. Like, I see this movie a million times already. Right? That's not exact. That's basically exaggeration. You can't possibly make it to a million times. Right? No, that's exaggeration. So yeah. And idiom, a phrase or expression. An idiom, phrase or expression. A phrase or expression not meant to be taken literally. Like, it's too easy, piece of cake. Like, piece of cake. For example, means too easy. I remember that is a question like, what does a piece of cake mean? And I'm like, huh, that's too easy. It's too easy. That was the one answer one time in the worksheet when I was in school, so yeah. Everybody can get that easily. Too easy, piece of cake. When you saw that question, so yeah. That's too easy, piece of cake. And I love that quote from Sonic. Too easy, piece of cake. Like Sonic the Hedgehog. I really love Sonic. I'm a Sonic fan. I love Sonic. But Mario's cool though. I like Mario. He's cool too. Both of them are great. Both of those two are great. Nintendo, Sega. So yeah. Mario and Sonic, Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog. They're both cool. So yeah. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. Next is onomatopoeia. Is words with sounds. Like the dog barking and the storm sound effect. And the earthquake too, so yeah. Or the whole thing collapse. Or decorations collapse, so yeah. So yeah. That's onomatopoeia. And personification is where non-human things are doing something, like non-human things are doing something. Like two leaves are falling and they start dancing. Yeah, personification means non-human things are doing something. So yeah, like two leaves are falling and they start dancing. They're the last two leaves in the planet, and they're falling down and they start dancing as their goodbyes. So no, that's personification, and they're not actually dancing. They're not actually dancing. So yeah, that's personification. So yeah, and alliteration. Words that all have the same letter that starts with. For example, all alligators ate apples. They all have all four words has the letter A. All alligators ate apples. All four words starts with the letter A. So yeah, it's easy. Alliteration. That's the easiest one you should know. Alliteration is the easiest one ever out of figurative language. So you so all words starts with the same letter. That's the easiest one to remember. Alliteration. All words shares the same letter that starts with. So yeah. And also there's also let's see, text structure. Like cause and effect. Cause and effect, like sorry, somebody's biting me. My bad. Cause and effect is something happening. Cause and effect, something happening, and all. And let's see. Compare and contrast. Cause and yeah, cause and effect, like what would be a good way to cause? Like cause and effect. This sentence. Dang it. Like, let's see. Like, I fell on the floor. For example, I fell on the floor because my shoes were untied. So effect is the shoes untied and cause you fell on the floor. That's the cause. You fell on the floor is the cause, and effect your shoes untied. So yeah. Sorry. So yeah. yeah. So basically, that's how it works. So basically, effect is before it what causes what happened. So yeah, effect is before it causes what happened. So yeah, like right away. So yeah, and Palmer's solution and yeah, Palmer's solution is Palmer's solution is some issues going on. Then you solve it later. Like for example, the problem, the light went out in the house, and for the solution, buy a new light bulb and plug it back in and replace it. That's a solution. That's a little small example, but it's not going to be an actual test. I'm saying it's a small example. The light went out as a problem, and the solution, get a new light bulb and replace the old one. So yeah, that's how power solution goes. And compare and contrast. It's something that's similar and alike. Like like lions and tigers. Lions lions like lions has a full set of hair, like a full beard, sort of. You could say that lions have full beards. Lions have fluffy hair, and tigers have stripes. Tigers have stripes. That's compare yeah. That's compare on each side. Lions has fluffy beard hairs, and tigers have stripes. And the center, for contrast, they're both in cat race. That's what they having. That's what they have in common. They're both cat race in the center. So yeah. And description, characteristic of a story. Yeah, description, characteristic of story, like basically like ask about information about it about ask about information about the person. So yeah, ask about the information about the person. Description. So yeah, ask information about the person. So yeah, and last but not least, sequence. It's no right. Sequence is steps in order. yeah, prescription information about yourself, like how's your day, what kind of person is he? So yeah, or she. So yeah, that's for the description. So yeah, sorry about that. It's a little notification on my computer. My bad. So yeah, and sequence. Last but not least, sequence. It's steps in order. Like, for example, baking a pizza. You buy dough. Step one. Step two, you flatten it. Step three, put tomato sauce. Four, put some cheese. And five, add some toppings. And six, put in the oven, set it to 45 degrees in 30 minutes. And seven, voila, well done. That sequence in order is the steps in order. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In order for the pizza part, where you do the steps in order to make a pizza, for example. So yeah, that's what sequence are. And last but not least, chronological is timelines. Chronological timelines. That's there too. Timelines. Timelines in order. Chronological is timelines in order. Basically, yeah, timeline in order. So yeah. Timelines in order. So yeah. Like, for example, for Nintendo, 1985, the old school Nintendo was released in 1985, the very first console. In 1989, the original Game Boy, the first handheld system. So yeah, the first handheld system. So yeah. In 1991, Super Nintendo came out for the console, the second Nintendo console. And in 96, the third Nintendo console, Nintendo 64. And in 98, go back to 95, the Virtual Boy, but that didn't last though. Nobody cares for it, no offense. But yeah, basically kind of forgot. They don't know what the Virtual Boy are. Some people don't know what Virtual Boy are. So yeah. So yeah. So 1995, the Virtual Boy came out. But 1996, Nintendo 64. Yeah, so Nintendo 64, 1996. So yeah, Virtual Boy is basically like the first VR Nintendo system. So yeah, didn't last that long. So yeah. Anyway, 1998, the second Nintendo handheld, the Game Boy Color. It's the second Nintendo handheld because like some of the games are exclusive for the Game Boy, but most of them are on the Game Boy as well, original. But on the Game Boy Color version, it just plays it in color. So yeah. But some of the games are exclusive to Game Boy Color. Some of the games. So yeah. Anyway, and in 2001, let's see. 2001, there you go, yeah. The Nintendo handheld, the Game Boy Advance, 2001. The Game Boy Advance, 2001. Came out in June. Came out in June of 2001. And then it came out. The Game Boy Advance came out in June 2001 as a Nintendo handheld system. So yeah, and then 5 months later, November 2001, the fourth Nintendo console, the GameCube, came out. And then 2004 of November, before Thanksgiving, the Nintendo DS, the fourth Nintendo handheld. And then 2 years later, November 2006, was Nintendo Wii, the fifth Nintendo console. And then in March 2011, the fourth Nintendo handheld, the 3DS. And then the sixth Nintendo console, and then November 2012, the sixth Nintendo console, the Wii U. The Wii U, sixth Nintendo console, and finally, finally, March 2007, the beginning of March 2017, the beginning of March of 2017, the Nintendo Switch, the seventh Nintendo console, and the sixth Nintendo handheld system. So, yeah. And now, last month, which was June 2025, the Nintendo Switch 2, the eighth Nintendo console, and and the seventh Nintendo handheld. So yeah, so Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, Switch. Yep, seventh Nintendo handheld and eighth Nintendo console. So yeah, came out in June 2025. So yeah. So yeah, yep. So yeah, last month, because Switch 2 came out last month. So yeah, so that's the timeline. That's how chronological works. That's for example. So yeah, that's for example chronological works. So yeah, and for first person, and also the point of view. Let's release the point of view. That's gonna be there, and who's narrating the story. If it's first person, yeah, the first person, use the word I, me, my. Ours, we, us, myself, ourself. So that's first person. In second person, that's a person inside the story. That's the person. That's the first person means the person inside the story that use those words. That's how first person goes. The person inside the story. So yeah, person inside the story. So yeah, which basically I think. Yeah, first person story. So yeah, which some of them are basically true events. If it's first person, some of them are like true events and all. So yeah, that's how first person goes. Some of them are basically true events. So yeah, that's how first person are. So yeah, if a second person gives you information, the second person is a narrator gives you some information on some stuff like instructions. Use you, yours, yourself, your. So yeah, give you information on stuff. The narrator is basically giving you information on the stuff. So yeah, but as long as it don't put quotation marks in. Don't put quotation marks. Be careful on that. So yeah. Right. And for third person, the person outside the story, like I said, he, she, they, them. He, she, they, him, her, them, her, his, her, their, theirs, hers, and his is, or themselves, 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 and themselves, and he is, she is, they are. So yeah, and also for second person you are, and first person I am, we are. So yeah. So third person is put aside the story and use these words, but is the person outside. That's the person outside the story. But if you use quotation marks, that's still third person. If you use quotation marks in the sentence, that's still third person. So yeah. And also, there's also types of third persons too. There's types of third persons. Let's see. Like limited. Limited is nobody's. No. Objective is nobody's feelings. Third person objective is nobody's feelings. Third person limited is one person's feelings. And opposite, third person opposite is more than one feelings. Like objective, nobody's sad. Limited, I am sad. And opposite, we are sad. Happy or glad, mad. So yeah. So those three types of third person are basically feelings, characters' feelings. So yeah, objective, nobody's feelings, limited, one character's feelings, and opposite, more than one person's feelings. So yeah, more than one person. Yeah. So it's not. So obviously it's not just one person. It's more than one. So yeah, more than one. So yeah, two or more, for example. So yeah. So that's how. So that's the reading part. That is the reading part. So yeah. So anyway, the writing. That is the longest of all. That is the longest of all. The writing is the longest. So basically, you comparing. You have to agree. There's two persons. You have to read the paragraph. You have to read the whole paragraph about two people, and which one do you agree more? Which one do you agree more? So yeah. So it requires 47 paragraphs and 3 to 7 sentences. So yeah. So that's all I have to say for the writing part. There's nothing to say. There's not much to say about the writing. That's all I have to say. Just type what you can, and remember, also make sure the words are correct, and don't add too many spaces and all. So yeah, make sure the words you spell. Make sure you got the words correct. Because also they will count the spelling too. They will count the spelling. You gotta make sure you type the words really well. Yeah, because spellings counts. Spellings counts. So yeah. So don't mess up. Don't mess up the word really well. Make sure you spell the word correctly. Because they will count spelling though. They will count spelling. So yeah. They will count spelling. So just type what you can, but make sure you get the spelling words correctly, or otherwise you will lose your points. Some points. So yeah, you will lose some points. So make sure you get the word correctly. There will be spelling check though. Spelling check though too as well. So yeah, spell check counts. So yeah. But anyway, dang, it's about to be an hour already. Already? Dang. Holy smokes. I've been doing this for a long time and all. Shoot. Dang, an hour long. So yeah. But anyway, I'm about to end this video right here. So can't believe I made it to the 4th episode already. So yeah, I'm so shocked. It's about to be the end of the month too. Getting close to August. Like dang. Time flies. Time does fly. Like shoot, time flies. So yeah. But anyway, it's getting late. I'm gonna end this video right here. I'm gonna go to bed and call it a night. So yeah. And I'll see you guys before August comes with the conclusion. So yeah. So until then, this has been nice kicking with Music Lover. So have a great weekend. And be careful out there and be safe and all. So yeah, so take care. I love you. God bless. Peace out. And make sure you hit the subscribe button with notification turn on. Right here. Nice kicking with Music Lover at my Snapchat. Also probably Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Also nice kicking with Music Lover at my Snapchat with your fan dude for making sure you make inputs. So yeah, right here. Follow me right here on this channel. So yeah. So yeah. So anyway, I'm out. Have a good night and peace out, guys. Sorry. And peace out, guys. Love you.